All right, let's talk about Dash. I mean, this coin is a true veteran in the crypto space, right? But here we are in 2026, and it's facing a serious make or break moment. It's totally reinvented itself. But the big question is, in a world with this much competition and regulation breathing down its neck, is it actually going to be enough to survive? So here's what we're going to cover. We'll kick things off with Dash's new mission. Then we'll get into the weeds of its massive tech upgrade. After that, we'll see how the market is reacting, size up the competition, and then, yep, we've got to talk about that huge regulatory threat before we look at what the future could hold for Dash. All right, let's jump right in. So Dash first showed up way back in 2014. I mean, in crypto years, that's basically the Stone Age, right? But the thing is, its goals today in 2026, they are a world away from what it originally set out to do. And you can really see the difference right here. It's night and day. Back then, Dash's whole mission was pretty simple. Just be a better, faster, more private version of digital cash. But now, oh, it's chasing something way bigger. It wants to be a full-blown platform for decentralized apps. We're not just talking about a small pivot here. This is a complete identity change. Okay, so to really get Dash, you have to understand its secret sauce, which is its two-tiered network. You've got your regular miners, sure, but then you have these special servers called masternodes, and they do a lot more than just process transactions. Think of them as the backbone. They're what makes Dash's instant payments possible, and this is the really important part. They run the entire decentralized governance system. This is what puts the community in the driver's seat, giving them direct control over where the project goes next. So you might be wondering, how in the world does a simple payment coin suddenly become a platform for apps? Well, the answer is all packed into the technical heart of this whole thing, the Evolution 2.0 upgrade. And this isn't some far-off promise. It went live back in January of this year. Yeah, and this quote really just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures how ambitious this whole thing is. We're not talking about a simple software update. This is a ground-up reinvention of what Dash even is and what it's capable of. The goal here is to start playing in a completely different league. So let's break down what this upgrade actually brings to the table. First, and this is the big one, it adds smart contracts and cross-chain communication. That's the engine, right? It's what lets people build dApps. Second, it tackles a huge problem in crypto, user experience. You get simple, readable usernames instead of those crazy long addresses. And finally, it gives developers a decentralized API, basically a toolkit to make building on Dash as smooth and easy as possible. Look, a fancy tech upgrade is one thing, but the real question is anyone actually using it? Is there any real momentum here? Let's check out the on-chain data and some recent partnerships to see if this ecosystem is really showing signs of life. Well, the market has definitely taken notice, no doubt about it. We saw a monster surge earlier this year. The price rocketed up over 150% in just 1 week, hitting peaks of over $92. That's some serious movement. And you know, this wasn't just some flash-in-the-pan price pump. The trading volume backing that move was absolutely enormous. We're talking over 1.4 times billion dollars in a single 24-hour period. That tells you there's real, significant interest from the market. It's back. Okay, now this is where Dash gets really interesting under the hood. It has its own built-in funding mechanism. Think of it like a decentralized war chest. A piece of every single block reward gets automatically sent to a treasury, and then the masternode owners vote on how to spend that money. This is huge because it means Dash doesn't depend on some central company or foundation. It's a truly self-sustaining ecosystem that pays for its own development, its own marketing, everything. And the team hasn't just been focused on the tech. They've been busy building bridges to the rest of the world. You've got integrations like Alchemy Pay, which connects Dash to traditional fiat currencies. Then you have things like the Maya protocol, letting you swap Dash directly for Bitcoin and Ethereum without a middleman. And to top it all off, a big community conference planned for Amsterdam. That's a great sign that the user base is fired up and engaged. Of course, Dash isn't doing all this in a bubble. It's jumping into an arena that's already packed with some really tough, established competitors. So the big question is, how does it actually stack up? This table gives us a really clear picture of where Dash is trying to position itself. See, it's not a hardcore, always-on privacy coin like Monero, and it's not a corporate-run payment network like Stellar. It's trying to be a hybrid of all these things. Fast, private when you want it to be, governed by its users, and now with smart contracts. It's the classic jack-of-all-trades approach.
But that leaves us with a critical question. Is that a winning strategy, or does it risk becoming a master of none?
But Dash's biggest fight might not be against another crypto project at all. It might be against governments. Let's be real, the regulatory climate for anything with privacy in the description is getting pretty chilly. And this isn't some vague, far-off threat. There is a hard deadline circled on the calendar. The European Union is seriously considering a blanket ban on all privacy coins, and it could kick in as soon as July 2027. This is not a small deal. We're talking about something that could trigger mass delistings from all the major exchanges, which would basically suffocate Dash's liquidity and accessibility almost overnight. So with all that on the table, this incredible tech rebirth on one side and this giant regulatory threat on the other, we're left with a project at a major crossroads. The source material basically lays out three very different possible futures for where Dash goes from here. First up, let's look at the best-case scenario, the optimistic future. In this world, the Evolution upgrade is a home run. Developers flood in to build on the platform, a whole vibrant DeFi ecosystem springs to life, and Dash finally achieves that grand vision of being the go-to standard for private, global digital cash. Okay, then you have the middle-of-the-road, neutral future. In this version of events, Dash, well, it survives. It doesn't exactly thrive, but it doesn't die either. It just kind of sticks around as a useful niche tool for its loyal community who use it for payments and privacy, but it never really breaks into the big leagues of the DeFi ecosystem. And finally, you have the worst-case scenario, the negative future. Here, that regulatory hammer we talked about comes down, and it comes down hard. Global regulations force exchanges to delist Dash en masse, which completely strangles its liquidity. It gets cut off from the wider crypto market and just begins a slow fade into obsolescence. So when you boil it all down, here's where we are. Dash has pulled off an incredible technological evolution, but now it's staring down its biggest test yet, a two-front war against fierce market competition and a very real regulatory threat. It is truly at a crossroads, which leaves us with that one massive question. Which path is it going to be? Evolution or extinction?